So, Happy New Year, everybody.
Here, new beginnings.
New beginnings for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about the time that we're in and new beginnings, and also just time in general and how it correlates to healing and um, just thinking about, the future is already existing. So we call it the future, but there's more evidence, plus, it's also the teaching of some spiritual paths, in particular, A Course in Miracles, that everything's already so called happened. The script is already written, it's already out there. So I've been thinking about, like, just, you know, we were talking about manifesting last time, and we did a card reading, and I've been listening to a lot of people talk because I had a lot of travel time recently, so I had a lot of YouTubes downloaded on my phone. And I've just been also thinking about things that really struck me about the quantum physics Reiki book. Um, and I this idea that's really hitting me this morning, and I'm kind of ad libbing here, but this idea that your future self, the one that's healed and joyful and light, and also experiencing peace and abundance in all the meaningful ways for you, already exists. Maybe not in exactly the form that you can think of right now, but the energy of her, because we're all women here, the energy of her already exists. And I've been feeling for myself lately that one way I can relate even stronger to the Holy Spirit, as termed in the Course in Miracles, is an aspect of my future self without the guilt. Because this pure spirit is not only a correcting guide, helping us have thoughts that undo the negative thoughts, but it's an aspect of the one. It's an aspect of this one mind. So, and there are physicists out there that talk about this in terms of like quantum jumping, timeline jumping, if you've ever heard of that. But I had my own experience, which I've shared before, about shifting timelines. So, but what I really think is that we're always shifting timelines. We're always changing the future. But then this morning, I was also thinking it's changing the past too. And I think there's evidence some people feel for that. So, the Mandela effect is an example of um, changing the past. And when it happens in a collective way, we can have very different memories of what happened in the past. And an example of that is that there's a lot of people that believe Nelson Mandela died in prison. And then there's a lot of evidence today that no, he didn't. He got released and freed and became the president of South Africa. And there's a whole list of examples like that. So, so I've just been thinking a lot about what that means in terms of the times we're in, and also connecting it with this idea, kind of like Hillary was a great example this morning, who said that she made her decision finally to do something she's been sharing with me and probably others that she'd wanted to do for a while, which is start a YouTube channel about mental health, her own journey and energy healing, and kind of being a voice for this out there. And then as soon as she did that, she had, this illness come on her, and she can't talk, and her throat chakra is getting whammed, right? And so, how that pertains to what I'm talking about is that I feel like a lot of people are looking at these things, and a lot of people are experiencing the fear that's coming up, and our, appearances are going like this, right? They're going to get really crazy, even crazier probably than we've seen them, because we have individual and also collective dismantlings. And I've told you that I had a major dismantling in my life in 2009. But I think one of the benefits of it is that it kind of helped me adjust to the idea of that, for one thing. And also, I feel very safe about the fact that it happens, because what's really happening is that as we divest of guilt and fear and those beliefs, and the way of holding that energy doesn't apply to us anymore, then all the forms in our lives, and some of it is relationships, they start to break down, because the fear is, they're not a match vibrationally to us anymore. And so, anyway, I think that it's good for all of us to be willing to go through our own and, support each other as this is happening. And then also, we are a collective example of it's okay that this is happening. Let it happen, whether it's institutions that start to fail us or whatever it is. It's all okay. It's all working out. And I'm feeling like I'm connecting more to a future self on the other side. And that's what the brothers, by the way, always said that they were. They said, we are you on the other side of all these lessons. So I feel like we can tune into that, and whether you relate to it through Reiki, which is absolutely another fair, but it's an impersonal essence of who we are in the future, I think. That's kind of what's coming in for me, because it feels alive, it feels intelligent, it knows us. We talk about that in the ocean of holy love. And it's helping us undo our blocks. Well, that sounds a lot like forgiveness. That sounds a lot like Holy Spirit. And one of the things in the book that we read, that I was really struck by, is that there were multiple occasions where she was running into the idea through the Bankston, I think was his name, the healer that she started to work with when she first got into healing. His approach was to forget the issue and to focus on the feelings that were really positive. And he would cycle through all these images. He was raising his vibration. And then, because he had a connection of some kind to whatever he was treating in his mind, in his field, then they would just like magnetize to that. And, they would somehow be influenced by that vibration, like the mice, or whoever he was healing. But there are a lot of, what I really liked about that was that there are analogs for that in other stories, other healers that don't talk in the same way. But Joel Goldsmith was very, very much the same way. So he had miracles all the time happening with really extreme kinds of illnesses. And he wasn't focused on them at all. But he believed that if people requested a healing from him, or one of the practitioners, that they now were, we might say they were entangled, maybe, because that's a quantum physics word, right? But maybe at the level of their energy, they were now connected. And it was simply him focusing on God and completely letting go of any ideas of correcting or illness or anything like that. Well, that also can be, to me, that feels like him tuning into his pure self, or his future self that he'll be when he's no longer having some of this personal stuff being worked out. So there is somewhat of a relationship there. But the idea that, and I've been feeling this in my healing work so much, that my work is getting way simpler, that my job isn't to think at all about their illness, or whatever their request is. And I've shared that in my classes that I listen to them, but I'm also letting it drift out this year because I don't want to be hanging on to it. And I don't take notes because I don't want to be reminded of their problem. I want to meet them who they are today. And I also think that keeps me very present in the moment. And then magic happens in that moment because I don't have an idea of what this healing should look like. I don't even know how to heal at all. I just show up. So where did I start with all of that? This time that we're in, and this idea of manifesting and this idea of dismantlings that we're going to be going through, maybe collectively, even more than we have. Maybe not, but I think we probably will. And everybody is also, that I know in my groups that I'm with, we're going through transitions. And so, you know, to just know that you have the future you already. And the Course in Miracles does say things like, awakening could happen in an instant. It's usually a process, but we can shorten this process too. So we can shrink the amount of, it says the place and time that you awaken is set, but you can hurry up the process, which is a paradox, right? It says miracles are here to save time. So it's just like taking in this idea that you're already awake, and it's just you deciding that you're willing to be that one, that you want to pull that one in, and that you want those thoughts and you don't want those other thoughts. But that seems very similar to, quantum jumping and things that we're learning about in energy healing. And, are we really healing the body, or are we actually taking on the energy blueprint of the one that's already healed? If there's a multiverse out there with versions of us, in all kinds of states doing all kinds of things. We don't need to be specific and pick the specific one we want, but if we focus on the vibration and the feeling of what we want and the joy and that's why the Course says your only prayer should be, I want the peace of God. And that's its biblical. Its language comes out of the biblical tradition, but the idea is that there's sort of that one goal of just that light, of that peace, of that joy, of that beauty, of that happiness. Just make that your one goal, and then let all the rest resolve itself. And that was definitely Joel Goldsmith too, but others, Lester Levinson too. Anyway, so that's what I was thinking about this morning. What were you guys thinking about this morning?
Thinking about, should I be packing boxes or should I be with this group today?
Be with this group today. That's what I would say.
If you attend to the kingdom first, all the rest will be given to you. So whatever that means to you, if this is a place where you join with your higher self and your God and your truth and your joy, then stay here and let the rest resolve.
Absolutely. This is my joy today.
But if packing is your thing, then I think you should go do that.
It's like, no, I'm taking a break.
Y'all want to fly down here and help me go through?
You know what? I would love to help. No, I'm serious. If I lived next door, I would be over there in a heartbeat to help. I would.
I couldn't convince my brother to come down either from Reno, so.
But you tried, huh?
I tried.
Good.
When do you have to leave? How much time do you have?
The movers come 29th, 30th, or 31st. They give you a window.
I could go down there.
So I have time. I'm just, you feel the pressure and the stress, and
right.
Oh my God, I've got to do this too, and anyway, it's all good.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Me too. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Just use it as a classroom. Like if you start with it already completed in your mind, like really hold the image of it's all in boxes already. And and I'm sure there's alternative realities, but choose the one that's good and it all works out, right? And and I do this all the time, actually. I just sort of instinctively used to do this when I was in school. I'd have to start with because I had a lot of stress, so I would start with the paper already written, in my mind. And then, you know, there's a plan that's already kind of there to make that outcome. It seems like it's cause and effect, but it's not really. It's already done. So what I learned to do is if it's hard, don't do it. Like that's me trying to make it happen. My son is actually spontaneously learning this right now, and he's sharing some of his, like that's his New Year's resolution. I don't know where he got these ideas. I think he just got them from the truth of him, but it's really cool to watch how he's experimenting and how it's coming through him. So you just don't try to make it happen. You know it already is happening and you're just going to be a channel for it. But if you start making an effort and then it doesn't go anywhere or it's kind of crazy, just pause and say, is this for now? And then you'll get a feeling of yes or no. And you might get another idea drop in. It might be do something out of order, some other order. And so you go do that. And you find that was really easy. But then while you were doing that, these angels did all this stuff in the background, or something just fell away that was a big problem, like the piano mover was, released from the day that they couldn't make it, whatever it is. It's amazing if you do it. It'll all go like clockwork. We did that on our trip. And you start seeing it bleed through the signs and symbols of your reality. So you'll be going to the store to get new packing tape and it'll say, something miraculous on a billboard and you'll be like, moving is pure joy, or something like that. And you'll be like, wow, it is, and it just starts to amp you. So use these challenges as examples. This is how you begin to embody this. If it's not embodied, it's not been learned. So it doesn't count when it's just up here. That's just the very beginning. It has to move into all the body, all the cells. They call it the heart. But it's really everything. So these times are really cool. You can experiment. And you don't have anybody dying. It's not like life and death. I've had to learn some of my hard lessons at life and death moments. But this one is packing, Not that I think it's, I don't want to trivialize it. I know it's hard to move a home, but anyway, it could be fun too.
It's a joyful move.
Oh, that's
good. Run. Yes, it really is. I'm very excited about it. It's just the detail. I hate detail stuff. So it's okay. It always all gets done. I mean, I've moved so many times, it should be second nature. And it all gets done always.
You could send your Reiki to the future too, or to the day.
Oh yeah, I actually did that with things that are happening where I'm like, but then I'm like really talking to myself too, saying, it's okay, everything's gonna be fine. Getting mad about it or whatever is not even gonna do any good, so it's like it's annoying though, but but it's been really good. I sent Reiki. I was like, okay, I'm sending Reiki to it. I'm asking God to, go before me in this. And if I have to start all over again, I guess I'll start all over again.
That's so good because that's working with your resistance and letting it go. So be completely fine if I never move or I never get my paperwork done.
Right.
You become totally okay. That's, Eckhart Tolle. The more you accept the moment just as it is, the more that the moment has a potential to change, because the guilt and the fear and the I hate this or whatever, that's the resistance. That's the negative or low vibration, and it will always try to recreate the status quo. So that's why you live the future that you've lived in the past, because that energy is continually self-replicating. So you have to use the resistance, meet it with pure acceptance, and that begins to, then you're lifting because you're not in the fear. You're in the acceptance. You're beginning to step up. So that begins to change it. But if we don't, then that's when we keep living out the future of fear and guilt and loss and abandonment and, unworthiness and all of that stuff. Because that's that energy. It's just replicating itself.
I was thinking this morning about my one-on-one session last night, and you know, I can have all kinds of theories about it, but one of the things that seems to happen pretty consistently with Reiki is when I give myself permission to feel the so-called negative feelings, even to relive the stories, um, and it's met with compassion and no judgment.
Yep.
If I try in any way to insert something positive into those stories, it totally backfires. Um, I have to just meet and oftentimes share, because for decades I did not share my past. And that was part of the trauma. There was no one to talk to about it. So um, yeah, for me, it's like I don't even think positive. I there's and maybe that will happen, or quote, it should happen. But if I just have an energy and an environment, inner and outer, where I can share and be met with that non-judgment, it just changes on its own. And what's interesting, and this I haven't experienced before, and it sort of speaks to what you're saying. This morning I woke up and all I could think about was beautiful things that have happened in my life. And I mean, things that happen with friends and serendipitous things. And I felt so blessed. And that was after doing nothing but sharing one negative story after another last night. Um, and it was automatic. I didn't try to replace it. It it was like some key got unlocked that allowed me to recall good things. Now, not with my family, but with other people and other experiences. And it just felt wonderful. But I think at least I'm still in this place where it's bring on the negative, don't stop it, scream, yell, forget forgiveness, just but don't judge it. Just
Yeah.
let it be exactly what it is. Because I think I tried for too many years this false sense of spirituality to overlay the negativity
Yeah.
with something positive, and failed every fucking.
That's
Well,
exactly.
you bring up a perfect point. And I totally relate because I was totally with you. I mean, in my own journey, right? Completely. And I already told you I tried the law of attraction and all that stuff. But see, the thing about it too is that your purpose overall had already been set, or you wouldn't have been talking to me. So it was how you were getting to that future self, or whatever we want to say, right? The Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And I've told you I have my friends that I know that when I'm crazy, I can call them and say, I've got to be the crazy one, or I am the crazy one right now. So you've got to be the healed one. And so, like Mary Scott, she'll just be this beautiful angel, and I'll just bleh. And I believe all of it in that moment. It's just like but I don't because I'm with her. I know it can't hold if I'm with that beautiful essence that she is, that she's going to be. And so it's weird because you're right. We have to, and it feels like we're believing it when we're doing it. But in a way, you have so much maturity that got you to the point to be able to go through it without having it suck you into it deeper. That this is you now getting into it because it's here, but the intention and the purpose is to be compassionately seen through so that it can release.
Yeah. 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 And the other thing that fascinates me is I've done that before, but when you talk about timing, this is the first time all these positive memories surfaced. Um, and more I feel, I think you and I discussed this, and I don't quite know how to put it into words, but I think part of the script is if you show up, there is though a sort of predetermined timing that we just don't know. I mean, why last night's session when I regurgitated all that stuff? Why not? Uh, uh, it's
Yeah,
like it's such a mystery.
mystery. But I think the more that we, and this is me being a cheerleader and why I probably started it today, but the more that we are convinced in our own experience of this, the brighter the light is for us, and maybe that accelerates the process for everyone. So someone else joins you, and it doesn't take them like it took me, however many years to get to that place where it can be so rapid, and then I can have those happy experiences at the end. They can cut through it faster, maybe. That's what it seems like anyway, because there's something we can't understand that's also part of it. And we can't measure frequency, and we can't, so I don't know exactly, but I do feel like there's something true about we we are really living a purposeful life, completely giving ourselves to our own process and trusting that that is exactly why we came, because we are also an instrument of something that is called for right now, that is accelerating this for everyone. But that's just me. But I just have these feelings about it, right? And then you start seeing these miracles, you know?
I don't think it's just you, by the way.
Yeah, no, but it's a great point because you can feel really schizophrenic. I used to not relate to the end of the Course in Miracles workbook at all because it's all, these very short prayers about, being in the joy. And I understood the other stuff, but I didn't understand it was just words after a certain point in the workbook. So I went through my process, yeah.
Everybody I read on YouTube or listen to is giving the same message about the timeline speeding up, and that we're all on one, that this current timeline contains all the frequencies. And that's why things are so crazy right now, that it used to be there was a timeline for this vibration and a timeline for that vibration. But all those timelines, they're saying, have converged into one. And then what's coming up is a breaking apart of that timeline again. But right now, they're saying we're all on this one timeline. And that's in part why things feel so chaotic, and also why things will start to dismantle on a much more collective scale. Anyway, it's fascinating stuff.
And it's been happening individually forever, and as an example, you can have a major shift and that something really big happened, and let's just say one of the ways you could talk about it is that you've shifted timelines, and then you can try to explain to someone what happened who's right next to you, and they don't have a clue what you're talking about. And then over time you can even see how you might you might not ever be able to completely sync with them again, and they might just sort of drift out of your reality because they're just not in your frequency anymore, and your timeline is completely shifted. And that's why relationships, when they come apart, it's much more, if you're on a healing journey, then just trust that it just wasn't for them, that they're on a different timeline. And so just send them love, send them healing, peace, energy, or whatever, but don't worry that it came apart. It couldn't stay together. The frequencies were just too different. And that's definitely what happened with my kid's dad and me, Eric. And I know that completely. And now there's just no way for us to really, I send him love and I'll send him Merry Christmas, but there's no way to really sync with that. And I don't worry about it like I used to. I used to have feelings like it should have been different. But sometimes forgiveness, as A Course in Miracles describes it, or healing will, make it look like a relationship that is, maybe just change forms and it's joyful still in a different way. But sometimes I think we don't get, that's what I call the cherry on top. We don't get to see it like we wanted to see it. It's still completely fine. And we can know that we're influencing them in a positive way by, holding them in a peaceful spot in our mind and being grateful for their presence in our lives and whatever they, did with us. But we have to just trust that the timeline for them is very different and it's completely appropriate for them, and they can't relate to us anymore, and nor should they, and that's been a really big lesson for me. I had to really let go of needing it to look a certain way to know that I had done my part. And I think that's very good for us to know and to emphasize in our healing work, because that's part of not taking anything personally, that the outcome isn't our responsibility. We're there to show up as, present as we can and as open-minded as we can and as willing as we can be to follow prompts and to also not interfere with what's happening. I think that's been my big lesson, is don't interfere with the healing that wants to happen. And don't have an opinion that it should be something else.
That's the hardest thing, the control that we want. I struggle with that. I think I've lived so many lives because I have not learned the lesson of patience. And yeah.
Yeah.
You're not alone in that, but it is hard. But letting go, it always feels better when you let go of that, outcome, and it actually really, you feel the peace. I feel the peace anyway. So.
Yeah.
And then you want to keep the peace. So.
Which is more control. Let's keep it like this.
There you go. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The more that we connect with more of that presence that we are, that's why I love Reiki, because it's a way I can relate to presence or call it into my experience very quickly. The more that we can just witness, and the more that we witness without an agenda, the more trying to have control feels really awkward. You know what I mean? So maybe instead of letting go of control, I could just practice allowing presence and witnessing. And in micro moments, I think all the gains happen in micro moments, and then they they build up into something like, an aha, or a way I now come and show up in the world. Because the micro moments of letting go or trusting a prompt or realizing, oh, that was a sign. Like if I get interrupted on the phone, a phone call, maybe I know that was not to be shared, like if the phone, if I'm in a conversation and somebody knocks on the door, I can feel sometimes as a witness that, oh, that's because that doesn't want to be shared. That's not to be said. And just the more I can back way up and be witness and watch, the more that I can see the perfect orchestration. So the more I can see the perfect orchestration, the less fear that I have. And the less fear that I have, well, there's no control that's needed, or even, and then you see you could never have controlled it, because the orchestration that's happening is so vast and big and so much more creative than, and it's in control, so my idea of control just doesn't even come up in the same old way as it used to. And I can feel that with my kids. I can feel that with sessions. I can feel that with my husband. It just starts to ripple through your life that you don't even want control. And then something will come up and it's a core issue like money or whatever. And then, okay, so I've got some meaning around all of that. And, we cycle back to it. But micro moments are good. Well, it looks like this is our group today, so that's good. And I was going to talk about the book or see if anybody wanted to, but I know Albina, she actually probably has more to say about it, or she has a lot to say about it, or some things to say about it. She's not here, so maybe we'll do it next week. We'll definitely do a group healing today. But we could also talk about what we might want to investigate as a future book. And I had one idea come to my mind just to throw out there. There's been a number of books that have been recommended in the past, so we can go back to that too. But there's a book called Overcoming Under-Earning. And I heard about it through a podcast on the Reiki Lifestyle channel, which is Colleen Benelli. And she had a guest on, and the guest was talking about a mentoring group that she runs, very similar to this one. And she said that they read that book as a group and they did all the exercises and together. And she was recounting all the really cool effects of, effects of doing that. And so, the fun changes people were experiencing in their relationship to money. So that was one idea I had.
It would be a good one for me.
I would love that. Yeah.
I would use that one for sure.
That's very appropriate for me right now. Yes.
I bought a Kindle, I think, so I'm going to pop over to my Kindle app here. See if I can dig up the link for you guys. Yep, here it is. It's by Barbara Stanny. A 5-step plan to a richer life.
I like when you say that in that group they do the exercises together, because often when I've read those kinds of books and they have the exercises, I go, oh, I really want to read the next chapter. I'll go back to the exercises later. And of course, I never go back. So
Right.
to have some accountability would be kind of nice.
That's true. I like to do it as a group too. I think that would be a fun way to, and I think that's probably how come it was such a successful thing for this group that I listened to her talk about. Okay, so maybe I will, Barbara Stanny. I'm going to take it up on Amazon because I can't get to that page where they give me the link. So Barbara Stan.
It's a 2009 book.
It's so old now.
It's so old. Yeah, I guess it's getting there, huh?
So you already have it up.
I do.
I think I just found it here. And I always forget how to get the link here. Oh.
It looks like there's an audio book. Wait a minute, let me see.
Yeah, there is. It says, must be an Audible.
Yeah, unabridged audio. Nice. Audible. That'll give me something to
Do instead of pack.
Yes, yes. I can multitask. Or listen to it on the drive to Montana.
Okay, it's on 39% off too. Or the audiobook is $7, $7.49.
You see the audiobook for $7?
$7.49, yeah.
Why am I seeing it for $12.03?
I don't know.
That is bizarre.
Are you on Audible? I'm not on Audible, I guess.
I'm on Amazon. I'm
So
on
am I.
Amazon at the moment, but let me pull up my Audible app and see.
It says list price is 17 and it's 56% off. So maybe they run their sales in a sneaky way.
Well, it's
Yeah, you never know with Amazon.
amounts. Yeah.
That's also what happens to books published in 2009, you know. It gets lower and lower.
It has 614 reviews and a 4.7 overall, so that's pretty good.
It is good.
When it comes to money, are you controlled by fear? Do you underestimate your worth? Are you ready to go to the next level but can't seem to get there? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you may be an under-earner. Under-earners are self-saboteurs who don't live up to their earnings potential, says Barbara Stanny, a financial educator, motivational speaker, and career counselor. Whether they make $10 an hour or six figures a year, they tend to live paycheck to paycheck, are often in debt, and have a high tolerance for low pay. Ironically, many work incredibly hard. The good news is that under-earning is a self-imposed condition. By focusing on overcoming it, under-earners will not only earn what they deserve, but live a richer life. With techniques and exercises that have helped thousands of people, Stanny teaches 5 essential steps to financial independence and brings a message of empowerment to all those who chronically undervalue themselves. So there you go.
I'll be right back. Someone's at my door.
Okay.
I'm so curious about the difference in prices we're seeing. I get a credit a month on Audible, so next week I'll have that and I can just get the book for free. But it's bizarre that you're seeing 7 and I'm seeing 12.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be.
Mine said. Hold on. Mine actually said higher than that, I think. Oh, was it? Kindle was $13.49 on mine, and then paperback $11.49.
Do you see the audiobook?
Audiobook said 99 cents with membership.
So it might be set by Audible. It might be a game they're playing based on who's, subscribed.
Looking. Yeah.
Because I do the same thing that you do for paperback and Kindle, but then I have $7.49 for the audiobook.
With membership or just by itself?
Just says available instantly.
Okay.
Bizarre.
How weird is that?
Because I pay for Audible every month, and I'm an Amazon Prime member, and I'm
Me-
seeing the higher price.
How weird. Oh, and then actually it says yeah,
So funny, so funny.
that is so weird. Yeah, whatever.
Well, we'll just reach out to Laura every time to see, do you have a cheaper,
Maybe it's because of my status. Like I'll get one and then I'll cancel right away. So I'm sure I'm not an active member.
Oh, okay. That's probably it. They're
Yeah.
drawing you in.
Yeah. It's like those CDs, 100 CDs for 1 penny or whatever that they used to do. But then you had to get one a month or two a month, and the shipping was like $70. Okay, well, I know Sume already has this because we were going to read it together in another group that we didn't continue. So I bet Albino would like it and Hillary would like it. So maybe we just decide that we're going to do this, and we'll do it together. So maybe on the weeks that we're not doing another talk, we will do something in the book. Okay, that sounds good. And let's see, we have the master class coming up. And Becky, were you going to join any of that? You'll probably be pretty busy.
That's next week, right?
Yeah, it's the 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Am I going to be on Zoom or am I going to be in class with you?
It's all Zoom. Because
Okay.
the new students are going to be Sume, Helen, and actually Megan is going to join too.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
we're okay.
nice.
So all online. Okay.
Yeah, and they're all over the place. So
So okay, that works.
Okay, I really want to join in. And selfishly, honestly, because at some point this year, later on, I'd like to teach myself. I'm gonna, weigh that out against just practice. But let me see how much I can get done between now and then, and I'll let you know for sure
okay,
before.
we
So
would love to have you if you can squeeze it in. And by the way, it's not selfish to want to teach Reiki. X that.
well, you know, I don't want to take advantage of sitting in on all your classes either.
Oh, I do though.
It's not taking
I love the opportunity.
It's not taking advantage.
Yeah,
I
I
take
learn more
advantage of
every
all the
time.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
He hasn't kicked
Awesome.
me out yet.
No, it's good. It's part of how the classes happen because it's a collaboration. It's not even you know it's your energy and your sincerity and whatever the inner questions are that you have that maybe you don't even ask verbally, but something is responding to you, and that comes through, maybe through me, maybe through an interaction you have with someone else in the group, or just something that dawns on you because of something that's happening, or your mind is being pinged by this process. So it's very enriching. So, I would say people should follow their guidance and what their heart wants to do, because that's you allowing yourself to be in that flow of this healing and this light that's growing and growing. And you are that light. So it's like when we stop it, then we slow everything down for ourselves. So it's not just what it looks like on a surface level. It's way more than that. So much more than that. Because what if you get an understanding that's deeper that you then can share with someone else, and you're a catalyst for them in some powerful way? So none of us are individual in the way that we think we are. We are of the one, and it's all waking up through us. So allow yourself to flow with the go, as my son says. And you can pack and listen. And honestly, I bet your packing will go very quickly if
Yeah.
you're always in the right place, according to your guidance. Your packing will just like, you'll be like, how did that even happen? You know? Okay, I'll stop lecturing you on packing.
I'm gonna
Well,
help you,
yeah,
Becky.
the challenge is that, I don't have terribly much to pack in my daughter's apartment because I put almost everything in storage. But I have to get over. I've got this storage unit that is jam-packed full to the door, and I have to get in and pull everything out and separate what, hopefully, so I can get rid of some stuff. But separate what goes to my brother's garage in Bozeman and what goes to the apartment. And it's all mush mush together right now. So it's a 10 by 10 unit, just jammed. And I have to, so I think I'm going to hire somebody to come help me pull everything out, because that'll make it quicker.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
then maybe there's a feeling of letting go.
I've done that so much over every move, but I know there's still stuff I don't need to have on my head, on my shoulders. So,
Yeah, like an energy thing.
it's definitely an energy thing.
Yeah.
Are you moving to a smaller place?
Not smaller than, for example, what I've had before I came here to my daughter's small apartment. But I had a storage unit when I lived there. So, and stuff that I didn't look at for 2 years. So yeah. And then I have my mother's things, and then, I got it. So it all just, it is worthy right now of letting go of so much. So even if I don't get all that accomplished by this move, I can deal with it in my brother's garage too. But I'd like to not have to pay to move so much. So enough
Well,
about that project.
no, it's a very important project actually, because the things around us and our living environments are some kind of outpicturing of our energy field. And so and so you could even just ask for guidance, like let me not be the one that decides.
Yeah.
And play 52 pickup with all the memories, all the people, all the energies of all of this, in the sense of I throw the deck onto the floor and the spirit chooses the ones that are for me. And then everything else gets to continue its life in the way it continues. And, uh, you know, there's the other thought that just came into my mind about how, these things are materializing with your attention. Like we've talked about, the quantum field and the fact that before there's an observer, there's no state. There's, particles and waves, and they haven't decided which they are until we observe it. So in a way, as you let go of your needing to be the one that holds it all together, and you give it to something higher, you give it to the Reiki, you give it to the spirit, then those old patterns can be undone, you know. But if I observe with my old mentality, they're going to continue to stay fixed. So I got to let go of that um, part that I've always played. And that's why it's so hard for hoarders to clean their house, for example, because it's not the stuff, it's the energy that the stuff is an outpicturing of. And it's the fear and the scarcity and the unworthiness for them or whatever it is. But if you clean it, if you use it as a collaboration with the spirit, you can actually change something really deeply inside of you. And then you'll be very grateful that you had that storage unit, because it was the way that this could get, undone and healed it up and released. And it's a blessing for everyone. Like, have you ever met people that know you from a certain age and you just wish they would let that go because you're not that person? In a way, it's like I feel like we're doing that with our memories. We're like, and I see ancestors at the table sometimes, and I feel like as I'm saying this, I'm feeling like, oh, that's one of the reasons they're like, please let me go, in a way, um, don't remember me who I was. I'm so much brighter and healed and beautiful than you could ever remember, because that wasn't your experience. So anyway, I don't know why I keep going off. Sorry, you guys.
All good. All good.
I'm very inspired by this year. I think that's kind of what's happening. Because I feel like some of these ideas that have been percolating in us for so long, but very quietly in our closet lives, are coming into the mainstream more and more and more. And I think we're going to be able to have much more open conversation about it. Maybe that's just my timeline. I don't know. But or the one that I'm imagining. Maybe I should, maybe it won't be that way, but yeah. Well, would you like to do a Reiki experience? And I will not choose that other music. Anyway, did anybody ever go back and listen to the experience again and see if the music still irritated you or if you had a different experience?
No, I've been too busy.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I could still go back, right? It's still on there, right?
Still
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still out there.
It's just,
I think I missed that. What was the
Oh,
experiment?
you weren't there.
Yeah.
Helen wasn't there, I don't think. That
oh,
day.
I missed
There,
it
there
too,
was
but
a
I did
couple of
see
us.
the link.
What was a couple of us that thought the music was annoying, right?
yeah, it was Hillary who,
And me.
yeah. So everybody had and I forget Albina what hers was very physical.
Hers was good, right? Yeah. Well, it was all good, but I just,
But
yeah.
it was the first time that at the end of an experience, everybody was agitated. Like, and everybody was equating it to the music. Like the music was really disruptive. And I was like, I thought it was really nice. It was different. I used a different YouTube. Um, and then I'm trying to remember what the theme was.
Oh,
It was a little different. And so anyway, what I thought might be happening was that some very deep resistance, fear was kind of reached, because I'd never, and even Hillary said there were kids racing up and down her hallway, in her environment, it became very crazy. And then with others, it was just their mental environment became very crazy. And they're like, I couldn't even do it because, I was just irritated by the music. And I never had that response ever. And it was the group. That was the other reason I thought, okay, something happened, because it was everybody.
it was kind of funny. Yeah.
You had sent me the recording, Laura, but when I tried to listen, I don't know why, but it was just blank for our
Really?
your meeting 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so I didn't get to hear any of it.
That is weird.
Yeah. So maybe that was part of the
Meant to see it because it was so chaotic. I'm just kidding.
There were weird things that day, and I'm feeling the energy today too. So maybe that's part of my problem. But like I couldn't open. I was going to talk about the book. We were going to put the book to bed for the end of the year. I could not open the book. I downloaded again, did all this stuff in the Kindle. Nope, nope, no. And so I'm like, okay, we're not going to read the book. Clearly, whatever we are doesn't want us to read the book. And so we did a group tarot reading, which was really cool, I thought.
I thought so too. It was good.
Wow.
It was an angel reading, a group angel
So
reading.
cool.
Yeah. Um, and then we did a group healing.
Yeah, a really good reading, and then
There was a riot.
then there was a riot. Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it.
So I said, well, try it again, maybe. And so now she gets a blank screen. Helen can't even get to it. So I don't even know if the video exists. Maybe that was reality. I know it took a long time to upload. It looked like data was going up there. So I'm not sure.
Right.
So I'm just tuning in, and I'm open. Does anyone have a theme in their mind? You could just shout out the first thing that comes to you for what you'd like healing for around, because I will incorporate it.
Self-love.
Yeah, always self-love, of course. That's a
So,
good one. That's a good one.
self-love.
And letting go of self-doubt.
Yeah, that's I was thinking of control as self-doubt, and and self-love, that all goes together. So,
Yeah.
okay, that sounds perfect. So, oh yeah, and the one I did, I remember now, was the banquet. This going to the banquet table and for spiritual
Yes,
nourishment.
that was it. It was the banquet table, and I was there at the banquet, and then all of a sudden it just, got crazy. I don't know. It's so fun to laugh about it now, I guess.
It is. It's amazing. Okay. Yeah, that was crazy.
Good thing you guys missed it. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm going to check and see if that video actually worked when we're done.
I know. Now I want to see if I can go back. Although Hillary said that she went back and did do it. So it was there for her.
I wasn't supposed to be there.
It wasn't supposed to be there.
Or maybe you should try now because you've had this transformation.
Yeah, I think I need to.
You'll have a beautiful experience.
So
Okay.
all I'm seeing are the links about the Denmark flag.
Yeah.
That
Oh, okay.
That was because the card reading.
That was part of the reading.
Yeah, it was part of the reading.
okay.
Let me get my.
You guys couldn't even see the cards. Did you guys see the
I
angel?
know that because that came through as text, the card reading. So I did read about the Danish flag because people were texting about it.
Okay.
But the recording of
of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was neat.
Well, I know I love Denmark, so I don't know about the flag.
Okay.
Denmark's one of my favorite places. Not that I know it well.
I'm going to put the link in here, you guys. So there's that if you want to listen later. Okay, so let's all get comfy. So just relax. This is the Garden of Forgiveness experience. This experience will help us to release all of our burdens. The experience specifically heals grief and guilt and shame and blame and over-empathy and compassion fatigue or any other kind of condition that would prevent us from being who we truly are in our joy as our Reiki practitioners, as lights in the world. So you can activate your Reiki symbols. Just imagine them all around you. And you can imagine it's a beautiful day. It's warm and sunny and the light is shining all around you. The beauty of the earth fills you with every breath. Its aliveness extending to you, life force energy. And in front of you is a beautiful bridge of light. And it's filled with illumined beings. There are angels, there are brothers and sisters of the light. There are elementals and all kinds of light beings that are here to greet you. The river of life flows under the bridge, and it's sparkling, full of light, full of color. You arrive on the other side of the bridge. And you decide to take a walk alongside the riverbank. There's a path, and you follow that. And on this path beside you is the divine animal kingdom. They're here as well. They line the riverbank. They're drinking from the living waters of the river. And they greet you as well. They welcome you. Peace fills the surrounding air. This feeling of welcome and harmony and wholeness. And as you follow the path along the river, you come to another path with a white picket fence and a gate leading to a beautiful garden. A divine mother greets you here. You walk through the gate with her, and you breathe the sweet fragrance of the flowers around you. Peace and light and love surround you. And this divine mother who loves you so completely, she guides you to lie down in a soft bed of rose petals. the angels, the Divine Mother, the Spirit of the earth, the divine animals, all the ascended masters. They're all here. They all surround you. And the divine animal kingdom stands in a circle around you, shining blessings through you. This is your moment. Brilliant light from the highest heavens shines directly on you in the presence of all these holy witnesses. The light washes over you, and you simply receive the grace of forgiveness. The light and grace of forgiveness wash over you. It scans your body and releases cords and connectors to any injuries, to any spiritual wounds, to any places in your soul, your body, your mind, and your emotions that carry any negative belief, negative past, negative opinion about yourself or about others who are also yourself. The worries, the burdens, and the power the injuries have had over you are lifted and carried into the light. They are not yours any longer. Be willing to completely let them go. You took on a burden that wasn't yours to carry. So let it go. Let it go into the light, where they can be healed by the power of love back to their original cause. The light of the heavens is shining on you. And as you breathe in the light within you is revealed. Your wholeness, your beauty, your grace, your love for the animals, your love for the human beings, your love for the earth, your love for the light beings, and the love of all those around you. Fill your heart. And with a full heart, light, beaming light shines through you. You rise from the bed of rose petals and you walk to the circle, the divine animals and the divine holy light beings. And you realize that your light is beautiful, just like theirs. You step into the circle now and you take your place there. Your light is like theirs. Your heart beats in the same rhythm as their hearts. Your spirit is free, clear, empowered, naturally extending, naturally configuring, creating your beautiful world. The light of grace shines on you. Receive the light. You can stay in your experience as long as you're guided to do so. And when you're ready, take a few deep breaths and bring your awareness to your eyes, and then slowly open your eyes and come back.
I really like that one. What one was that called?
That's in the Animal Master.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, ooh, I love that.
Kind of modified a little bit for our theme, but very close. It's a forgiveness experience.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Becky, we need to do the animal master class.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, all my 7 cats showed up that I've had in my
Oh,
experience.
that's awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love it. And a lioness and an elephant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw all the animals and I just so visual. It was a beautiful experience for sure. I was like, oh, this is nice. I didn't want to leave.
I know. I
I was back in Africa, um, and thinking about the photos that I have of um, different animals that are just they have this peaceful look on their faces. You know, they're contemplating, they're just, I don't know, in the now.
And then
So
yeah,
that was a really cool thing. So now I've decided I need to do something to put those photos together into something.
I would love to see that.
Yes. Beautiful. Wow.
And then I went off on all the to-dos I have to do. So that
Oh, oh,
was,
yeah, that happened to me too.
Well, maybe you can bring the animals with you while you're packing.
yes, yes,
And the angels,
Yes.
yes,
like
yeah.
like
It
like
was
they can
something that
really help you.
an unusual thing for me anyway. You know, you always hear about the people that see 1111 a lot. And I thought, man, that never happens to me. So the
Oh,
last couple weeks, almost daily, I see that.
11:11 you've seen?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
I
see
just
that.
happened to look down on my phone and there it is. Um,
Mhm.
so
Well, they're wanting to get your attention.
Hmm. Or there'll be 333 222 444.
I get a lot of fours lately, but I my whole awakening started with 1111 in 1987. I kept saying it no matter when I looked at the clock, it would be 11 or 111 or
Well,
yeah.
when I met you, Laura, I was seeing 222, and then when you responded in the email, it was 222. I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be going here. It's been 3 years. We've known each other.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
it is amazing.
One of the hopefully so one of the interesting things in the session I did with Helen, I won't say anything personal, Helen, but just what I was watching was this amazing beauty because we're talking about our future self and our light. And it was like her pure star. That's how I experienced her. And I've had that metaphor come in before. The pure star of her that has never been bound by time was pouring light into her and reconfiguring her experience or her everything, you know. And I don't know why I'm sharing this right now, except for it's like our willingness, the Course says, is all we need to offer, you know? And she was so gracefully allowing energies to move through. And, you know, she'd maybe have a story about it as it would make its presence known. And then, but she was also just in this total yes for this transformation to happen. It was as profound for me, maybe, as it was for her. Or at least I can say it was profound to watch, actually. And it was all spontaneous. You know, it wasn't like I was doing something intentionally. I was just being Reiki as to my ability and allowing what was wanting to happen. So I guess I'm saying it so that we can all know that we're all going to experience this our own ways, but give whatever it is for you full permission and just know that the truth of you has never been touched by any of this fear or this earth experience, but it's also so intimately connected with you. And as we say yes to it, and we can call it God or we can call it source or whatever, but it's also you. And it seemed very personal and very abstract at the same time. And I think that's that's the calling card of this love. It feels very personal, very intimate, and yet it's also impersonal somehow. But as you just say yes to it, and it can come through angels, all these ways it's going to bleed through, can problems resolve, and so the stories when they're up, just know they're here, but they're not my final resting place. They're here now, but there's this love that is guiding this process, and that is the more I'm in sync with that, the more yeah, I'm going to feel whatever I feel and have these memories come up and whatever. And that's part of it. That's part of our role, is to say yes. But you can trust that something incredible is unfolding for you. And I love when you remember that 1111 is an angel speaking to you. It's just a way your mind is going to get reconfigured to think miraculously. This is not what we think it is. It's just time to be saying yes to letting our old Newtonian beliefs that are so rigid, let them crumble. We can have them lightly so that we can go to the store and function, but something else is coming in, and it's actually what you want more than anything in your heart. That's what I feel too, is you're letting what you really want come closer to you and come into your life. So yay. It was really cool to watch her true self be this shower, and this, I don't know how to say it. I can't give it right words, but this love affair going on was melting the past. That was my words, not hers, but anyway. All right. Well, we have a little bit of time for your guys' practice, sharing, exchanging. Probably take a little break and then meet back here, and I'll check out and check back later.
So we're gonna do it three. We're gonna all do. We can work it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to the restroom.